Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video, I'm going to list out my top 5 smartphones that I have used in 2017. And price is not a consideration, so mostly these are flagship smartphones. And I have to say, there is no favorite smartphone that I liked this year. Sadly, there's nothing like one smartphone that I can pick up and say, this is the best smartphone that I've used in 2017. Because in my personal usage, and I've used each of these smartphones, so it's not just based on specs, this is based on actual usage that I did. Every smartphone for my personal usage had a major flaw that I didn't like. For example, if you would have asked me last year in 2016, I would have said that the Pixel XL was my favorite smartphone. Yes, it was not perfect. It had big bezels and stuff, but it didn't have any deal breakers, for example, a faulty screen or a major flaw that I didn't like. But this year, I simply didn't like any of the smartphones. But here are my top 5 picks. And for 95% of the users, all of these smartphones are great smartphones. But I'll give you my opinion about these smartphones. There is nothing like a first, second, or a third. So these are the 5 smartphones. So let's start with the Pixel 2 XL, and I'm going to list out only the phones that were officially launched in India and are available in India. And the first pick, as I've told you, was the Pixel. So here is this here is the Pixel 2 XL that I have used now. I've used this phone for more than 2 months now. And what I really like about this phone is that it is really, really fast. And again, it is made by Google, designed by Google and stuff, runs on stock Android. So it's really fast. And the camera is insane on this. Pixel, that is Google, didn't go with dual camera setups, but it's just having a single camera. But still, I would say it beats all the smartphones in terms of camera performance. And in terms of camera, this is the best smartphone that you can get. Both the rear facing as well as the front facing camera are incredible on this. And even with just a single camera, it was able to provide features like portrait mode and did a lot better than many of the other phones. So in camera, it is great. Speed is also great. Again, regarding updates, you don't have to worry because it's a Google phone. You'll get the latest updates. And it also has the dual speakers, which I really enjoyed because on the go, if you're just watching YouTube videos or movies, that dual speaker gives you very good effect. But what is the things that was a deal breaker for me? Now, as I've told you, I've used this for almost 2 months. And still, I don't like the screen quality on this Pixel 2 XL. Yes, I've applied that update, that saturation mode and all those things. Even with that, still, I would say I don't like the colors on this one. Again, it might be just me because I work a lot with video, so I'm picky about the colors, how they look, and they just don't look that good on the Pixel to me. In the saturation mode, it looks oversaturated, so the colors look a lot darker. But when I go to the normal mode, again, it's not that great. So that is the biggest deal breaker for me. And I feel the screen is the thing that you see the most on the smartphone. So it still bugs me about the screen. And I also don't like the fact that it does not have the headphone jack. I listen to a lot of music, so it was a stupid move on Google to remove the headphone jack. And lastly, again, you're paying a premium. This is what, 70 to 73,000 in India. And this one also does not have the wireless charging. But the biggest deal breaker for me was the screen quality on the Pixel 2 XL. Now let's move to the next one. That is the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. This is the flagship smartphone by Samsung. And again, as you can see, it looks great. And the screen quality is amazing. Again, Samsung makes one of the best AMOLED screens. So expected that this one has one of the best quality screens that you can get. So no issues regarding the screen quality on this one. And it also has a headphone jack. And the build quality actually on this Note 8 is very good. And camera, now if we move, this was the first smartphone by Samsung that implemented that dual camera setup, and I have to say the camera performance was actually really good on this one. Even that portrait mode with this second camera, telephoto, works very well. You can adjust the depth of field and stuff. So in terms of camera, they have done a very good job. Even the front facing camera actually was very good. So if you take a lot of pictures, most of you would be satisfied with the camera performance of this Note 8. But now moving to the things that I did not like. The weight balance of this phone is simply not that great. I've used this for almost 3 weeks, almost 20 days. And still, even at the end of 3 weeks, I simply didn't like the weight balance of this phone. It's slightly on the top heavy, I would say. And also, the biggest gripe for me was this fingerprint scanner. As you can see, you simply can't reach it with a single hand, and always you have to adjust your grip with this. I tried the iris scanner, but the iris scanner also in terms of accuracy was not, it doesn't work fluidly. You have to accurately adjust it, the distance that you have. So it was also a deal breaker. And you guys don't realize this. I used my smartphones a lot, and you unlock it almost 200 to 250 times a day. So this fingerprint scanner was the biggest deal breaker for me. But yeah, this might be an ideal smartphone for a lot of you because it also has the S Pen. And in fact, I will give you an example. Just about 3 weeks ago, my sister actually asked me, she was using the Note 4. It has become sort of old, so she wanted to upgrade, and she asked me between the Pixel 2 XL and the Note 8. And I told her to go with the Note 8 because I know she's an artist. She uses the S Pen. And again, because she's an artist, again, she's a little bit picky about the colors. I knew she won't like the colors on the Pixel 2 XL. So this might be a great phone for many of you. But for me, it's just the weight balance is simply not that great. And this fingerprint scanner still bugs me. So yeah, that is the thing about the Galaxy Note 8. Now let's move to the third one. This is the iPhone 10. Here it is. Let me just unlock with the face unlock. So this is the iPhone 10, and finally we are seeing a refreshed design. Let me just take it out of the case. And that's the thing with this iPhone. You buy an iPhone, the repairs are so expensive. You have to use actually a case with this device. That's one of the cons of this one. But in terms of design, I would say finally it's a modern looking iPhone that you're getting, almost bezel-less. Yes, we have that notch and we have that Face ID, and the Face ID actually works very well. Even in pitch dark conditions, it works. So that works really well. And also now moving to the rear camera, the rear camera performance has improved, and both the cameras now have optical image stabilization. And Apple also added this new thing that is known as the, lighting effects, and they really make a difference, I would say. So this is the only smartphone, I would say, apart from the iPhone 8 Plus also has that feature that has those lighting effects. And I find them in real life to be actually useful. So the rear facing camera is also actually really good. The Face ID works. And the screen quality, though it's an AMOLED screen, this is the first time Apple is going with the AMOLED screen, but the screen quality is actually really good on this one. Now moving to the things that I did not like with the iPhone, and that is the front-facing camera. The front-facing camera, I would say, is the weakest among the flagships that I have used. And I use the front-facing camera not to take a lot of selfies, but sometimes I have to do a live broadcast, or sometimes I'm vlogging, so I use that. And in terms of that, the front-facing camera is simply not that good. The front-facing camera also has that portrait mode or something, but again, I feel it's not that great. The edge detection is simply not that great. In that way, I would say the Pixel 2 XL does a lot better. So the front-facing camera is not that great, and that's a deal breaker for me. And also, it's a pretty expensive phone. And again, it does not have the headphone jack. Yes, I have these AirPods, but again, I miss the headphone jacks because I have a good pair of several good pair of headphones, and yeah, simply these AirPods and the wireless, Bluetooth headphones simply don't match up. So these were the biggest con. Biggest con for me for the iPhone is the front-facing camera. That was the thing that I missed the most. Now let's move to the next one, and this would be the ideal smartphone, I would say, if your budget is below 35,000, and you guys have guessed it, that is the OnePlus 5T or the OnePlus 5. Now the OnePlus 5 is gone, so let's just talk about the OnePlus 5T. And you can get this for 33,000 rupees in India for the 64GB variant that comes with 6GB of RAM. So in terms of specifications also, the specifications are really good, and it's an amazingly fast phone. It's really fluid in operations, though it's running on Oxygen OS. It's very fluid. It's close to stock Android, and I have to say this is one of the second fastest smartphone that I have used this year. The first one would be the Pixel, and the second one would be this. So in terms of fluidity, I have no issues with this one, and the pricing, as I've told you, is excellent. And now this OnePlus 5T, because of the new screen aspect ratio, looks really modern and comparable to styling with other flagships. and the build quality also is actually really good. It's not like the build quality is cheap, it's metallic, gives a firm feel to you. So in terms of build quality also, I have no issues. But now moving to some of the cons, I would say in camera, this is again not comparable to the flagships. The flagships still have slightly better camera than this one. So if camera is your highest priority, then yeah, the others, again, I know that they are a lot more expensive, do provide better quality. Also, this one is not water resistant. So that can be an issue because accidentally, yeah, you in rainy season, monsoon and stuff, your phones can get wet, and it has happened to me a couple of times. Thankfully at the time I was using the phones were IP rated, so nothing happened, but there is no official IP rating for this device. And again, this is not nitpicking, I would say nitpicking, but this one doesn't support wireless charging, whereas most of the other phones that we were talking apart from the Pixel support wireless charging. So excellent phone for I would say on a budget. If you are under 35,000, this is simply a no-brainer in my opinion, the OnePlus 5T. Now moving to the next one, this is the LG V30, and I was just not including this in my list. I have one more smartphone that I was including. I'll talk about that later. Yes, I know that will be the sixth one. But just recently LG launched this one. This is the V30. This is the Indian edition that I unboxed just yesterday. But before that also I used the LG V30 for 2 days. And what I like about this phone is the amazing pricing now that is there in India, specifically in India. In United States and other countries, it's still a $840 to $850 phone, but in India, it's just for 45,000. So the pricing is actually really good for a flagship, and you are getting flagship specs with this one. And this is very surprising. And the screen quality, at least on this variant and the other two which I checked earlier, is actually much better than the Pixel 2 XL. I don't get it. It's the same panel that LG is using for the Pixel also, but for some reason the screen quality on this one, the LG V30, is not as bad as on the Pixel 2 XL. I was not annoyed with the screen quality. So maybe LG is just reserving the better quality screens for themselves and giving the rest of the lot to Pixel phones. This is just a conspiracy theory, but I have. Yes, there is a little bit of bluish tint when I tilt it too much like this, but again in normal usage I didn't notice that. So screen quality, which was one of my major gripe, and that's the reason I purchased even the Indian retail unit to check that the screen quality is actually not bad on this one. Now another thing I really like with LG phones is they put very good high quality DACs, that is the headphone jack. So if you have high quality headphones, this is the phone for you. None of the other flagships have that option. So if you listen to a lot of music, you're an audiophile kind of a person, something, have very high quality headphones, this is the phone for you. And I'm in that category. I listen to a lot of music, so I really enjoy the music output I was getting from the headphone jack. And again, this was a worry for me because LG has a custom UI. It's and trust me, it's a little bit on the cartoony side, and I thought it would slow down the phone because this comes with just 4 gigabytes of RAM, though it is having 128 gigabytes of internal storage, but I haven't noticed any lagginess on this device. But yeah, the UI is cartoony, especially in the settings. They have to revamp the settings. There are layers upon layers of settings inside you have to go. So I don't like the UI, but again, you can always install a custom launcher. And the good thing is that in general performance, I did not notice any lagginess on this device. Even the battery life, I was sort of worried. I'm getting slightly above 5 hours of screen on time with a full day of usage. That's about 23 hours of the charger. Also, it is IP68 dust and water resistant, and this also supports wireless charging. So you are covered in that. And also the camera is actually good. I wouldn't say the camera is as good as the Pixel 2. The Pixel 2 XL has one of the best cameras, but the camera on this one is actually also good. And it also has that wide angle lens. So yes, it doesn't have that portrait and telephoto, but it has that wide angle lens. So it can be sort of beneficial, I would say. So if you like wide angle shots, you have that option with this LG V30. Again, if the camera is your highest priority, I would say the Pixel 2 XL has the best camera. But now moving to things that I did not like with this one. Though LG is stressing this as a music centric phone, audio via the headphone jack is very good, but the speaker, I would say, is one of the worst among all these flagships. It's tinny, flat, and also it's not very loud. So I would say the speaker quality is just not that great on this phone. And also moving to the front facing camera, it's just a 5 megapixel shooter, and I have to say the front facing camera is not the best. So that is the weak point about this phone. But apart from that, considering the price point, I would say this is an excellent overall package, at least in India. Now moving to this last phone, which I had to exclude because the LG V30 just came in. This is a special kind of a phone. This was the BlackBerry Key One. I no longer have it. It was a review in it, and it had sent it back to the company. And when I used this phone, and I used this phone for almost a month, and I really enjoyed using the phone. This Key One actually has a physical keyboard, so it's not for everyone. I would say not for gamers and stuff like that. This is oriented towards business users, and I really enjoyed using Android on this. And you could map every key to a shortcut. So unconsciously, I became very productive using the BlackBerry Key One. But again, it's a smartphone not for everyone. And I think so BlackBerry got the pricing wrong. It is having the Snapdragon 625 chipset, so not a flagship, SoC, but still it is priced around 40,000. But I would give the BlackBerry Key One as a special phone that I really enjoyed when I was using. So these were my top picks for the smartphones of 2017. I'll also be making a video on my top smartphone picks in the mid-range price bracket sometime next week, so stay tuned for that. So do let me know which one of these is your favorite smartphone and why. And if you're still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.